We're at CaptBlueHen Comics in Newark, Delaware, and this is owner Joe.
Hi, Joe Murray. CaptBlueHen has been around for about a push. We're going to be celebrating our 30th anniversary next year. We started out actually way up in that little building up front there, really small store, and have grown a little bit. We've been in this location for about 15 years. So there actually is a plan going on here. When you walk in, we know that the first 6 or 8 feet are actually lost, but we actually give that to our smallest customers, the kids, and we kind of got this sort of tile thing going on here, which will tie into our sort of diner motif later on. But when a parent comes in here and they're afraid of comic shops, we say as long as you're on the tile, you're safe. This is where we have all our kids' comics, and everything should be pretty good. And this is where we let customers display some collections. This kind of just got changed out, so it's not quite finished yet. Whatever. Then you kind of walk farther into the store. We just sort of open this up because we had a dead spot there, and that's where we keep our supplies. Everybody's going to look there anyway, and we know that that's where kind of a dead area, so we can put that kind of stuff. And then we want them to be greeted with stuff that they sort of recognize in case it's somebody who hasn't, been in a comic shop or whatever. We want them to get a little bit comfortable. So this is all the kind of stuff that ties into properties that they would know from outside of comics, like Star Wars and TV and video games and stuff. And this side is the superhero side. So as they get farther in, that's when they kind of get a little bit more into the, the hardcore geeker nerds or stuff. We try to do a little bit of boutiquing, but this is where our graphic novels are, and the superhero comics. Got a little bit of genre racking going on here, which is apparently doing very well. I got to restock those today. We're kind of not doing so much as back issues as we used to. This is the back issues that would be basically from the last couple of years for people trying to restock, getting into a new series and trying to restock. And we just have a limited number of kind of gold and silver age stuff in here, which Paul, the previous owner, still works here, and he kind of handles that stuff because he still loves being all about the hunt, that kind of stuff. And then when we go over to here, this is one of our favorite little pieces of our booths that we got at a Woolworths years ago. We love the kind of diner booth thing, and this is so that the people coming with the shopper can sort of hang out and aren't going to hassle anybody, whatever. And then actually we get work done here because nothing brings a crowd in more than like trying to work on previews at the front counter. And knowing that the economy's tough, this side, actually this little island here, is actually to give people an alternative to comics that are getting a little pricey. So it's lots of sets and dollar books and things that are kind of a little bit more affordable, really good reads. But this is sort of just a boutique wall that highlights certain things. Right now we're doing dollar first issues and our Neil Gaiman Hellboy stuff. Vertigo, since we know that that's kind of a brand on its own, and that's just the graphic novels. Alphabetically, these rows here kind of all cover the stuff that doesn't necessarily fit into anywhere else. And then our dark side here, which would be our crime and war and all that kind of stuff, sort of Vertigo-esque stuff that's not necessarily Vertigo. And then this is science fiction and fantasy. Also, we call it wizards and warp drives. Very difficult to try to get some of this stuff. And this is the one where we've been trying for the longest time to come up with a name for it. We can't figure it. That kind of covers everything else. Your literary comics and biographies and romances and humor and stuff. And this is where our new releases are. New releases from this week and new releases from last week. And we have about 400 regular members and subscribers. And just a little boutique, and that's about it. There actually is a plan. It's designed to make the people, our new members, the people come in every week to walk in, go to the counter first, walk over here to this side, get their stuff. They have to walk back over, and if they're looking for back issues, they end up having to kind of cover the whole store in order to get around. And again, this would be the side for the people who aren't in your superheroes. This would be, but you have to walk farther and farther into the store to kind of get to the kind of hardcore stuff. And I think that's about it. We're sort of we don't have a super specific specialty other than customer service and friendliness and just being awesome, offering the comics and so much more. So.
Great, thanks so much for taking us around your store, Joe. Really appreciate it. This has been CaptBlueHen Comics in Newark, Delaware, and this is filmed in August 2010.